a method of divide and rule. He has divided our people along tribal lines. However, we are trying to unite a generation, which is actually working very well. We're trying to unite a generation so that they demand for what they rightly deserve in a country that can actually provide that.
Mr. President, in your repackaged message, you are urging Ugandans to rebel against the regime. For lack of better terms, you are asking the Ugandans for a protest vote. Do you think that your message has been received by Ugandans across Uganda?
It's actually not a message not only for Ugandans, it's a message for East Africans and probably all Africans. I mean, in the recent days, you've seen the young people of Madagascar, of Tanzania, of Kenya, and many other places, even of Cameroon, rising to the occasion and saying enough is enough. And they say they want to determine their own destiny. And this is what we encourage the young people of Uganda. We are calling this a protest vote because we are protesting first and foremost against impunity. We are using this election to speak out and speak loudly. We know that General Museveni has a habit of abusing the law and acting with impunity. We are going to protest against that in the vote, and we've encouraged our young people to vote, but follow their vote, to ensure that they defend it, to ensure that what they say through their vote is actually what prevails.
Is orchestrating violence against, your party members and supporters. Now, can you elaborate on the specifics? Are there specific incidents which you can point at as, violent, activities that have occurred in your camp, orchestrated by the regime?
Yes, please. Even before the election, even before we were nominated, there was a deliberate, carefully planned line to arrest and abduct people that are around me. More than 10 of my close security team were arrested and are still in prison over trumped up charges. Of course, there are always the new people that come to stand in for the imprisoned and jailed comrades. So this time round, the regime has been trying to find any excuse to round up our people. They first claimed that my team and I had actually robbed the police. You see, we're always followed by police and the military, heavily armed. However, they alleged that my team and I had robbed them, and with that excuse, they arrested another 10 people from the northern part of Uganda, Gulu. That was last week. Now, 2 days ago, as we were traveling to the western part of the country, and that is where General Museveni comes from, a group of young men dressed in yellow t-shirts with General Museveni's picture, protected by police armed to the tooth, raided us. They attacked us, hurling stones and beating our people with sticks. However, we were protected by the police that was given to us by the Electoral Commission, and we went past that. Of course, even the people that are around the place that are our supporters, who are actually many, reiterated and stopped these goons from attacking us. However, that very night, police raided the hotels that we were in, and they took 20 of our people, claiming that we actually fought the people who attacked us. Now, probably that's the same excuse that they are having to round up our people, but the whole world knows that acting with impunity is what General Museveni knows best.
You say you in your press briefing mentioned just a couple of it must have been yesterday where you said that the mayor of Sanga town council has been implicated in mobilizing these attackers. Have you reported this incident to authorities? But also, what is your expected action with regards this particular allegation?
That is committing a crime I mean, these criminals were guarded by the police. This was on camera, but the police has not come out to say anything, you know. But I mean, it is the police that was doing this criminality. How do we go to report to them?
Been arrested and detained. What do you think is the motivation behind these arrests? Because clearly, these things have been done to you and your members for a very long time. But what is it that you think is the motivation and behind these arrests?
Well, first and foremost, the region where we are is where General Museveni comes from. And for a long time, he has been rigging elections and claiming 100% of the vote in his favor in most places in Western Uganda. In 2021, many of them were blocked from voting for the president because he was not sure whether they supported him. So to see that when we stepped in Western Uganda, we had such a huge heroic welcome, that did not augur well with the regime. So we believe that they are trying to intimidate the people of Western Uganda, the people of Ankole. They are also trying to discourage people from associating with us and our quest for change in Uganda. That said, I must also mention that it has not just started now. It has been happening, and the regime has always been trying to isolate me as an individual, to arrest and detain the people that give me support, so that I don't have enough support system.
What strategy do you have, to counter the possible impact of these, these actions that are being made against you?
The strategy is not giving up. That is our strategy. Not giving up. Of course, our tactics keep changing every day. When they block a road, we devise means. When they arrest our people, we struggle to find alternatives, etc., etc. So we take every situation the way it comes to see that we overcome it. But our main plan is not to give up, to keep going, because everything is on our side. We are at par with the law. The law is with us. Otherwise, we would be in jail. But even when they arrest us, they can only torture us, but they cannot convict us because we are not committing any crime. The population is with us because besides them being majorly young, they have faced oppression for 40 years. Majority of the population have never seen another president, and therefore they want change. And finally, and most importantly, time is on our side. We only need not to give up, and that is an assurance of it.
President Setamu, you have said that your party is non-violent and operates within the law. But how do you manage? How are you going to manage to, ensure that your party does not retaliate after these provocations that are being made against them? But also, what is your general message to the people in the region that you are?
First and foremost, while I lead the presidential candidate of that the National Unity Platform, I don't look at this struggle as a struggle between political parties. No. I look at this struggle as a struggle between the people of Uganda and a tyrant, a military dictator that has oppressed them for 40 years. And these people, many of them are in the party that I lead, but there are some that are even apolitical. But they want change. And therefore, I don't look at this as a party. I look at this as a cause of the people of Uganda. My message to the people of Uganda is to know that you can come together and change your country. We are only using this election to communicate firmly to all and sundry that the people of Uganda want change, and we are tired of this military dictator, and we are voting him out, and we will vote him out. We know how he behaves. We know that there will be many efforts to rig the election. We are calling upon the people of Uganda to give themselves something to fight for, and thereafter go ahead and fight for it and defend it.
The ghetto president, that is the moniker that you go by, which is a testament of your roots, with the grassroots. Now, especially with the people of Muwonge, how do you plan to leverage this grassroots support getting into the 2026, election? But also, you are challenging this president for another time. What are you doing different this time around to protect the vote?
Yeah, what am I doing to live the ghetto? It's not only about the ghetto. Yes, I come from the ghetto, but there's so many people that don't come from the ghetto but want better. Many of them, their parents or their grandparents or they themselves worked their way out of the ghetto. However, they want better. They want a country that functions, that works for them, that makes their dreams valid. And those people are part of this, our struggle. So we don't just limit it to the ghetto. It is everybody, everybody's cause. What are we going to do better for the people? Follow the law, implement the plans, cut down the corruption, that and more will be our definition in the new Uganda.
35% of the vote in the last time in 2021. Now, when we get to 2026 and we're getting to this, particular election, how are you looking at, succeeding or amassing more numbers in this particular, election, especially amidst intimidation, arrests, and abductions of your supporters and the NUP as well? Is the question that I'm going to be asking our guest, who unfortunately has lost connectivity for now, but like he said, it's not so easy to get a connection in the region that he is. We're going to be having, him back, hopefully, in a short while. What do you think of this conversation? We are engaging in conversation with the largest opposition leader in Uganda. He goes by the name Bobiwine. His government name, Robert Setamu, or Robert Kyagulanyi Setamu, as you may want to know him by. This is the conversation we're having tonight. Is now the time for Bobiwine? Is the question that we are asking. You're watching Spotlight on Crown TV.
First lady bamukubye. Guys, mutusonyiwe eri tewali network. Nkyusa bwenzira mu bujinja gyensanze yekwata gye ngenda nayo. Sabi, togendayo.
You're not one of them and you'll never be, I'm telling you. You are being used to torture your brothers, but you're also going to think.
President Muteja, share the video. Guys, President, are you safe? President wagala mutusako bulabe. They want to kill the president. They want to kill the president. They want to kill the president. What's your problem, President in danger. Mugende, what is your problem, man? What is your problem? President in danger. Guys, President wagala mutta. President wagala mutta. President wagala mutta. President wagala mutusako bulabe. President in danger. Share the video. We are going. Guys, President in danger. President are in danger. Guys, share the video. President in danger. They want to kill president. They want to kill president. We are going already. President in danger. Forward, everybody. Moving on. Move. Guys, bagala kuta president. They want to kill 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 president. Share the video. Which one? They want to kill president, guys. They want to kill president. Guys, share the video. They want to kill president. They want to kill president. Okay. Camera ready. Ajabana mbaje mu danger. Share the video, guys. Share the video. President in danger.
With the largest, opposition political party leader, that is Bobiwine. And just before we could, get to the meat of the conversation, his, internet cut. He did mention that he currently is surrounded at the hotel that he is, surrounded by police, and that he's failing to get good network connection. But luckily, we have managed to, have a conversation of some sort with him, and we do hope that you are tuned in and are following. The pictures that we are running are pictures of what transpired today in Uganda, He was in Mbarara, and he, as you can see with his support there, was having a time to just send his message across to his supporters. We are trying to get to understand exactly, what his plans are for Uganda. He has mentioned of what has happened in that country. He's talked about intimidation, torture, violence, and oppression against, political participants in Uganda. But our question to him is that whilst these challenges, are existing, and the space for politics is genuinely more open, because he can be allowed, of course, with issues to host, these rallies. Now, how does he, as an opposition leader, navigate this restrictive, environment in that particular country? Those are things that we want to, to understand, but also want to understand that this constant state pressure, including his arrests, and he's charged with treason. Remember, he was charged with treason in 2018, and also the documentation of his journey, the Oscar-nominated film Bobiwine. Wanted to get into the meat of this conversation and just understand where he is at as things stand today, but also his vision for Uganda. He says he wants his people to follow the law and to just follow the law. Now, the state of basic needs and economic challenge is another conversation that we would like to understand. I want to get his thoughts on the biggest challenge the people of Uganda are facing right now, and how Uganda can, leverage the situation that is there, and, to find means of existing as one people, not get divided by, political differences. Those are so many, conversations or angles of conversations that we would love to have with our guest. He's trying with his team to rejoin, but unfortunately, we cannot see his face yet, and we cannot have this, interesting conversation with him. What do you think, of what is going on in that country? Uganda, as you know, Uganda goes to elections early next year. We also would like to compare, what, has been happening with regards to Uganda's democracy to what is happening in Africa generally concerning, democracy, but also the transition of power by leaders that have held office for long periods of time. We are live on DSTV channel 277, on GoTV channel 23, but also alive on Topstar channel 89 and on StarTimes channel 543. We are live as well on YouTube and on Facebook as Crown TV Zambia. So in case you missed any bits of this conversation that we're having with Bobiwine, you can follow our page for updates on what this conversation was about, but also you can rewatch this video as well, this live video in your own time. Now, Bobiwine has challenged the regime, and his team are trying this time around to garner more votes than the 35% vote, which, by the way, was the largest any opposition political leader in Uganda has managed to garner ever since Ugandan elections, commenced. That's the elections against Yoweri Museveni. So it is a huge number, 35. He believed that he had won that particular election, but that the incumbent Yoweri Museveni had stolen that election, from him. These are conversations that we would love to have with Bobiwine once he manages to get back online. But in the meantime, let's have a look again at some of the other scenes that have taken place in Uganda as of today, but also in this campaign period. But also you must be aware that right before this interview, right before the announcement was made by Crown Television that we were going to host Bobiwine tonight, him and his team were attacked allegedly by police and some soldiers in Uganda. And right now, his hotel is surrounded by police and by some other state operatives, according to him. You're watching Spotlight on Crown Television.
Mukanda wange yeyembereriwo president in danger. President in danger. It is an ambush. Yeah. Guys, share the video. We are alive. What the network abajikwata muno musharinge. Tambula. Ila mazi. Babude mu danger. Abamu babambudde engoye. Muganda wange yeyembereriwo. Share the video. Share. Onine kyambadde musomesa ku kamera. President in danger. Guys, share the video.
Okay. Ati mwekate ku bantu abangi kangende ndaba abaana baffe balina. Okay? Yeah.
Katongole muve wano. They want to kill president. Guys. Guys, oline kyambadde musomesa ku kamera. Oline kyambadde musomesa ku kamera. Oline kyambadde musomesa ku kamera. Oli ku Rujjo TV.
We can see, Bobiwine's team trying to get through to us, but unfortunately, the video feed is just too weak for a conversation to be possible. We are grateful, however, to his team and, to him for having given us this, chance to have a conversation with him. We may have this conversation sometime, anytime. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be anytime this week. Could have another conversation with him. We'll keep on engaging to try and have this conversation with Bobiwine. But we've reached the end of what has been an illuminating, conversation. And at times when you hear him talk about how brutal the experiences him and his team have had to face and the people that support him, it's been sobering, a discussion. Bobiwine, to you and your team, we're grateful for sharing your perspective on the upcoming 2026 Ugandan election, but also your vision for a democratic Uganda and the challenges you and your movement face in what you've described as a restrictive political environment. We appreciate you for taking time to join us to offer your insights into the political landscape. To our viewers, thank you, for tuning in to this special edition of Spotlight, and do make sure to join us again Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 20 hours, where we have big conversations that must be had. We did mention on Tuesday, when this conversation could not be had, that this conversation was going to be had some way or another. And we did have that conversation with Bobiwine on Crown Television. Do continue watching Crown TV, Zambia's leading